was the Vedic knowledge. We have now decided that the crafts and skills and vocational training, these subjects were not actually prohibited to anyone. But were the Vedas prohibited? Was the Vedic knowledge itself prohibited? Now here we have to make a very, very important distinctions, which is, I think, the most important point that I'm going to make in this talk. We have to make the distinction between the Vedic knowledge and the means of creating Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge was not prohibited to anyone. We should be very, very clear about it. And I will illustrate with very powerful examples in a few minutes that it was not prohibited. Only the means of creating knowledge were prohibited. The means of creating knowledge were, as we have already discussed, it contained an entire lifestyle, it contained training of decades. And there was the danger of misunderstanding, misappropriating the Vedas and the knowledge that is contained in them. And that was potent knowledge. It could not just be misinterpreted, it could not just be left ununderstood, but it could be potentially misunderstood to the detriment of the entire society. And we are seeing its results now when people like those who are anadhikaris like Sheldon Pollock, they are studying these Vedas and they are dismantling them upon our scriptures, and they are dismantling it. Knowledge was not Vedic knowledge, even Vedic knowledge was not prohibited to everyone. And I'll illustrate you how from three very potent examples. The Natyashastra is a very famous text, which now almost everyone is familiar with. The Natyashastra is a very famous text. It is around 2,500 years old. Dr. Bharat Gupji maintains that it is around 2,500 years old, and I tend to believe in. So it is a text which speaks on not just drama or the art of theatre. It speaks very potently. Almost all fine arts in India, arts and fine arts, have to refer to the Natyashastra at one time or the other. It is such a potent text. It has seeds of everything else. It speaks on iconography. It speaks on dance and music directly. Then through these disciplines, it speaks on sculpture. It speaks on a lot of other fine arts. So this Natyashastra in chapter 1, verse 12, the Natyashastra has its stated, self-stated goal of taking the knowledge of the Vedas to those communities which are not able to partake in that knowledge directly. I'll quote chapter 1, verse 12, the Natyashastra. As the Vedas are not to be listened to by those born as Shudras, be pleased to create another Veda which will belong to all the Varnas. So the Natyashastra, the stated goal of the Natyashastra is to take the knowledge of the Vedas to each and everyone. How? By drama, by various means, as we'll discuss later on. First of all, by drama, that great stories of the Vedas, the Upanishads, and other epics and itihasas, they would be enacted again and again in society over the ages, all over India. The Natyashastra took the knowledge of the Vedas to each and every nook and corner of India, to each and every city, town, and village of India by enacting the greatest stories containing the universal truths that the Sanatan civilization and culture espoused in capsule form to each and everyone. The people did not have to go to a certain place to watch this theater. This theater actually came to the people. So that's a very potent example about the Natyashastra, that it actually took the knowledge of the Vedas to everyone. And very significantly, it is called the fifth Veda.